The most important ingredient is the sugar pie pumpkin, and I usually want to make sure that I get something good, and I bought this butternut squash. The name can be deceiving because the butternut squash ended up being more sweet than the sugar pie pumpkin, but the sugar pie pumpkin ended up having more scent, wonderful scent, and amazing flavor. So we used both in a pie, and it really turned out to be amazing. And just to give you a little bit of background, I usually make tiny house building videos, but this is about sustainability, since I wanted my channel to be also about sustainability, food preparation, production, growing food. So that's why I decided to make this video and to show how my mom did this and archive it, and maybe I can show this to children or grandchildren if I ever have. Have you ever imagined that how cool it would have been if your parents or grandparents recorded the past and you could watch it back on a YouTube video? Sometimes I think how amazing that would be if I could watch the past of my parents and grandparents, how their life was. My dad used to tell me amazing stories. Italia was helping me. She's the biggest fan of my pie, by the way. If you see a ton of food and ingredients on the kitchen island, it's because it was Thanksgiving and I wasn't the only one cooking. We're gonna have to do some math. So for this squash pie, it's gonna be like half a kilo of flour. You can see this is 2.27 kilogram. And then we also have the
do the conversions later.
67. I mean, it's better to have a scale, of course, but this is 67 servings per container, and a serving size is 1/4 of a cup, is 34 grams. Okay, so I have this equation. 16.75 cup equals 2.27 kilogram. Then X cup equals half a kilo. So I'm gonna have to calculate how many cups are half a kilo of flour for the crust of the pie. So I have this equation. So I'm gonna have to cross multiply. So multiply this with 0.5 and this with X, and then I get the X. So the amount of cups we need for half a kilo is 3.68 cup. Just to give you a little bit of history, this is how they make the squash pie at Bácska, which was divided between Hungary and Serbia in the past. The measuring cup that we happen to have is 1/3 of a cup. So I had to multiply the result of 3.68 by 3, and it's roughly 11 cups. I mean, third cups. Now adding 1 teaspoon of baking powder in it. We must mix it really good. Adding about half a teaspoon of salt adds a great flavor to it. This is the best tasting natural butter I ever had. I have picked it up in Irvine's Mother's Market store. This is half a pound, 23 decagram, which is really close to the 25 decagram we need. This is the texture. It's coming out really nice. This is my absolute favorite milk, Horizon. I'm gonna put 1 cup to the dough and mix it real well together. Of course, I don't add it all at once. I like to do little by little, maybe like 4 portions or 5 portions, and keep mixing it while I'm adding it. Eventually, you're gonna end up with a nice ball of dough. And now it's time to stretch the dough, but before stretching it, putting some flour to avoid sticking, but also cut 2 halves because it's gonna be 3 layers: the bottom dough layer, the squash in the middle, and the top dough layer. And I just realized that it's sliding all over the place. So I decided to, instead of the bottom of the pan, I moved to the marble, which is heavier. Oh yeah, it's much better. It doesn't slide all over the place. Now the idea is to stretch the dough on a rectangle shape, because the pan is usually a rectangle shape. But sometimes it's better if you help. It's easier if you help with a knife and cut off the amoeba stretched out parts and stick it somewhere else where it's missing. When you're ready, you want to put smear some butter on the bottom of the pan to avoid sticking and burning too much. Carefully moving the bottom layer to the pan. And now one of the most important ingredients, in my opinion, is the ground cinnamon. And I just love the cinnamon. I know my mom always told me not to put too much, but I just can't get enough of that. And actually I heard it's healthy. I don't want to detail several reasons. One of the reasons, I think, that it lowers the sugar spike in the blood. So, but I mean, it tastes awesome, so I don't have to say anything more. Do we have to put anything else on it?
Zukor?
Honey? Honey. Where's the honey?
What do you mean, where's the honey?
On the counter.
Are you
It's in a
serious?
container straight ahead. No. There you go.
Are you relying on there to be enough honey here?
Just a little bit. Not too much.
Wanda's watching you. You
Everybody's
heavy
watching you. You better load
So
it
you
up.
don't put too much of your honey in there. She said she's watching you, Peter.
As you heard, most people in the household love a lot of sugar. I try to avoid too much sugar because I know it's not healthy. And actually, I just end up using honey, not even sugar. But it's up to you. I mean, if you don't have anything against sugar, just add sugar. But I love the taste of honey. It's probably healthier. And don't put too much, because too much honey is not good for you either. Just a little bit more. Now it's time to roll up the top layer of the dough. Poke the holes so it can release the steam from the heat, the excess pressure that could create big bumps on the dough if you don't do it. If I remember correct, it was baked around 370 Fahrenheit for about 25 minutes, but you should check it. The top's supposed to be nice golden brown. Final advice, slice it while it's still warm. Enjoy.